I'm life and business coach Samantha Sifring, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Hello, mamas. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. This week, I want to share with you an analogy and concept that I shared during Design 2021 this year that blew everybody's mind. And I just decided this has to be like immortalized in the podcast, and it will be incredibly helpful to all of you in your business. So this is going to be around the concept of converting your audience into clients and kind of that process of marketing and making offers and wondering if it's working and how to know if it's working and when it's going to convert and all of those types of questions that you might have in your business. So first things first, for those of you who did not yet do Design 2021, which was a live event that I did at the beginning of December, it is still available for you. It was so good. We actually decided to take it and turn it into an automated sequence that you'll receive. So the first iteration was live in a pop-up Facebook group. But if you sign up now, you will still get all the goodness, all the breakthroughs of it, and you will get every single day a worksheet and a video to watch. And I encourage when you watch the video for you to pretend that you're there live. I want you to think about your answers. I want you to think about the questions you have, wait for them to get answered during the live, and all of that as if you were there live in person. So this event actually helps you to plan out your 2021, from evaluating 2020 to setting a goal, to solving for all of the obstacles, and then creating both the mindset and the action plan to achieve that goal. This training is the best training that I offer for free, hands down. It was so good this year. I actually am stepping up my game for the trainings that I'm going to be doing in 2021 because I'm like, this is so good. I need to rethink every other training that I do from here on out because this one was so fantastic. So if you have not yet done it, you can go to 2021.samanthasifring.com and sign up for it and start getting those trainings delivered to you each day beginning now. We'll also link it up in the notes. So if you heard me say my name and you have no idea how to spell it, that is totally okay. You can just go into the show notes and click it and we will get you that training. Okay. So first I want to start out by talking about when I first started my business, what I used to think and how I tried to approach my marketing. So when I first started my business, I had a couple of different thoughts. The first one was that I looked at everybody that I knew that had a successful business, from like Marie Forleo to Amy Porterfield and all of those types of people. That's who I was following when I first started out. And I saw what they were doing. They were offering freebies, they put content out, they were posting on Instagram, they did free events, all of those types of things. And so I just replicated all of those things. And I had this thought, wow, this would be a lot easier if I actually had an audience. So I had an audience of like my mom, my mother-in-law, my stepmom, some friends, and some women that I mentored. And that was pretty much it initially. And so I was sending all of these people my thoughts in email. I was posting memes and inspiring quotes on my Instagram, and I was thinking, how come no one is hiring me as their life coach? This is a problem that I see a lot of you making, that you replicate your marketing efforts after businesses that are super successful, and you do it for a few weeks. Like, I'm thinking I probably did this for like 3 weeks before I was like, what the heck? How come no one's hired me? And then I kept going for a little bit longer than that, but like my efforts kind of started to dwindle. And I see this pattern play out. You create this marketing strategy based on multi-million-dollar businesses that you follow, and you don't have a lot of your own intellectual property yet. So you're posting a lot of quotes, memes, things that you've learned from your mentors. And then several weeks in, when you're getting no response, no clients, you start to doubt that it's working and that it's ever going to work. And then you become inconsistent with your efforts. So today we're going to talk about the antidote to this, and why you don't have to do this pattern, and actually how you can approach your business to get clients and grow an audience. So I want to now talk about a year into my business. I started my Facebook group, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about growing that Facebook group. Now, a lot of you know that I don't have that group anymore. That's okay. The point of this is not to teach you that growing a Facebook group is the way to do it. This is just where I grew my first audience, or I should say where I first started growing my audience. Because when I closed my group, my audience came with me to the podcast, to Instagram, to my email list. They will follow you if you change directions, if you change location of where you are. So when I first started my Facebook group, I thought about this. I thought about how long am I willing to consistently put value in here before I decide that it's not working and want to quit. And this is something that I want all of you to really think about with growing your audiences. How long are you willing to do it without feedback before getting discouraged, before quitting? Because growing an audience and creating an audience that's going to convert into clients takes time. This isn't something that happens in a couple weeks, typically for most of us. A lot of my clients who have really quick success are people who spent a year or maybe even more building up an audience in advance of working with me, in advance of making offers. A lot of people have an audience that they've created for a blog or some other kind of passion project that when they start making offers, those people already know them and are already warm. So it takes some time. It takes more than just time. It takes what is in that time. It takes the consistency of value and offers over time in there. And so when I started my Facebook group, I knew that that was true, and I was willing to put in time. I was willing to put in over a year of time before getting anything out of this group, of consistently posting value, of treating this group like they were paying clients and pouring value into them consistently for over a year before I got anything out of it. Now, it didn't take that long to get clients. It didn't take over a year to get clients from it, but it took about a year to be consistently signing clients from my group instead of just having them kind of pop up randomly here and there. So knowing that it takes consistency, density of value and offers over time to build an audience and then convert that audience, I want to give you a concept that's going to help you envision this process, that's going to help you build up your patience and be willing to keep showing up giving and serving the audience that you have and that you're growing. So this is the idea that your business and your marketing and your audience is like a microwave. And in this microwave, you are cooking microwave popcorn. So think about how this works. You have your microwave, you put in your microwave popcorn. How long does it take of cooking the popcorn until a kernel pops? It takes like at least a minute of the microwave being on and seemingly nothing happening before any kernels pop. This is like your business. You have this period of time where the heat is on. The heat is consistently warming up and heating up that oil inside and getting that oil to the right heat for the kernels to start popping. So you have this period of time where it seems like nothing is happening and it's not working. This also happens in your business. When you start consistently putting out value and offers, you're going to notice that it seems like it's not working and like nothing is happening. And what most people do in their businesses during this period of time is the equivalent of opening up the door of the microwave, looking inside the bag and being like, is anything happening? It's not working. And what this does is cool the oil down and slow down the process of heating up those kernels so that they're going to pop. It slows down that cooking process, and it actually delays the time between starting and getting the result you want of a kernel popping. Now, most people in their businesses, and this is what I did for my entire first year, open and close that microwave door during that minute, making that minute so much longer than it needs to be. And then they just get so frustrated and they go through this cycle where it's kind of like this meme. If you've seen this meme of people digging for gold underground and the person who quits when they're like, 5 inches, however far away from hitting the gold or the diamonds or whatever it is that they're mining for in this meme that I'm sure you've seen and you know what I'm talking about. And then the person who just goes a little bit further hits that treasure. This is like how it works in your businesses when you are heating up that oil in the bag of microwave popcorn. It takes that consistency and that willingness to continue going when you have no evidence that it is working. So now let's take it a little bit further. Let's say you had that patience, you had that willingness to be consistent, continue pouring in value and offers, and you had this set period of time. You were like, you know what? I'm willing to show up for 6 months. I'm willing to show up for a year. Whatever it takes to build up this audience and continue pouring into them, I am willing to do that. Let's say that you do that, whatever that period of time is. Then you get one client and then it's quiet and you're like, what the heck? That was a fluke. This happens to a lot of you. You achieve a goal and then you decide that was a fluke. This isn't going to work. That is like when you're cooking the popcorn, you know, when the first kernel pops and then it's quiet again for like 5 or 10 seconds and then the next one pops. And then they start popping closer and closer together until there's this period of time where like every kernel is popping and it's like pop, 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 pop. And they're like popping at the same time. And it's an explosion in the bag and the bag poofs up and is huge and full. And then the popcorn is done. This is how it works in your business. So I don't want you all to have these expectations that one day it's just going to turn on and it's going to be full blast. You're just going to go from 0 to 25K months. Some people do, but there's more to that story, right? They've built up that audience. They've poured into that audience. They just hadn't made an offer. Maybe they just hadn't had a clear message. But for the majority of us, the popcorn slowly starts popping. And like for me, I signed a client 10 months into my business, and then I didn't sign my next client until 2 months later. And then I started signing clients every month and then every couple of weeks. And then I started signing multiple clients in a week. It really builds over time when you are willing to put in that consistency of value and offers. So here's what I want to offer to you as a thought when you're in this place where you're tempted to think it's not working. I want you to explore the possibility that it's always working. It is working. Whatever value and offers you're putting out there are heating up the oil and the kernels. And that happens for a long time before one of the kernels pops. What you're doing right now is part of the heat that is going to create a client in your future. The email you send this week, the post you do today, the live you do this week is going into somebody's pocket as a reason that they're going to hire you in the future. In another podcast, I have this concept of the value scale. And I imagine that every single person who's ever going to hire us has a scale. And they all have a different weight that the scale has to get to before they say yes to us. But each thing we're doing, like for me, this podcast episode right now, it's going on to all of those people's scales. And for some people, it might be the final weight, like the last straw that it takes to tip the scale. For some people, maybe it's the first time they've heard me. For some people, maybe it's somewhere in the middle, right? But for a lot of people, this is part of the value that is going onto their scale that in the future is going to lead to that scale tipping and them hiring me. It's kind of the same as that popcorn idea, right? It's part of the heat that is heating them up. So I want you to remember this concept when you are building your audience, when you're pouring into your audience. I want you to really remember that this is part of the process. And it's why in Mama to CEO, I teach 2 streams of marketing so that you aren't building a business and just waiting a year to get any clients while you wait for your audience to build up and start popping. You have another stream of getting clients. And that's something that you can learn in Mama to CEO. But for those of you who are in that second stream who are struggling with, I'm putting content out there and it's not converting and it's not working, and you find yourself kind of falling off the wagon and not being consistent, this is what is going on. And this is what you have to remember to heat that popcorn up all the way. All right, mamas, I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And I hope that this concept really gives you a lot of inspiration to keep going in your business. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, mamatoceo.com.